like that, y'all.
Hey, yeah.
Here, right before we go on. Okay, you are from, I heard you say a lot of things, ratchet things about Staten Island. I'm from ratchet things about Staten Island. You know, keeping it 100. And so, how did they find you? How did you hook up with Jimmie and Jermaine? Yo, that's crazy.
Man, how did they find me? All right, so it's an interesting story. We have a mutual friend in Delaware.
Okay.
And he's a good dude. And he basically.
I want you to kind of look his voice.
Just a little bit louder. So we have a mutual friend in Delaware, and Jermaine actually came out there and he was looking for he was looking for some artists. So he kept playing him a bunch of different artists or whatever. And you know, Jermaine he's a hip hop purist, so he was just like nah. So he played one song for me and he was like, let me hear something else from him. And so the dude, so my boy Chris, he played another song for him, and so Jermaine was like, I think I'm gonna work with him. So Chris hit me up, let me know, and he gave me Jermaine's number, and we just met up at the studio, which is crazy because the first meet that we had, the first meeting after the initial introduction was the footage that you see in the film. And so we probably talked for maybe all of like 4 or 5 hours. I didn't realize that it was going to be a segment in the film.
Okay.
I just thought he was kicking it.
Right,
you know,
right,
so,
right. Like we think, like I thought I was doing now, but that's what,
so that's what
the video people do, you know.
Right.
Okay.
So that kind of like just snowballed into what I would say is an awesome friendship, and now Jermaine is my manager. So it really just snowballed into that, you know, just being diligent with that. Like I was working on a project with another brother of mine, a lot of Nerve, who's also from Staten Island.
Okay.
We had a group called MLR, Music Lives in Reality.
Okay.
And so we were just working on that project and, you know, just brainstorming. Jermaine came through with the cameras, we kicked it. And
how did you manage to keep your desire? You say he's a hip-hop purist. How did you manage to keep your desire or drive? Because we went to a real bad dry spell in this hip-hop thing. You know what I'm saying? How did you manage to keep your drive and already, admittedly so, being in New York, but sectioned off? How did you manage to keep that drive and then still have, you got a hard swagger. You got conscious lyrics. So like, what's going on? Like, are you?
It's what I came up with.
Okay.
You know, so I think with the younger generation, they don't really have an opportunity to have that balance because they just don't know. You know, for me, I always knew where it came from. So it's kind of like, man, you know, it's no comparison. If this is all you know, it's just like if somebody eats fast food all the time, right? They don't really know what home cooking is like until they go to grandma's house for the first time. And they're like, I'm never touching that again.
Chicken boxes, never ever. Okay.
So it's like, you know, when you were a kid too, you kind of think the burger that your mom make is terrible. Like, I don't want this burger. I want McDonald's burger. You know what I mean? But the McDonald's burger is nothing in comparison. However, you know, you're younger, you don't know any better. You get a little older, and you start to understand. I need something that's going to stick with me a little bit more and be a lot more healthy for me. So I came up in that generation where it was more about. Look, I came up at the time when the Wu was first coming together. So having that influence and seeing that, like I'm from Park Hill. The majority of Wu-Tang is from Park Hill. So I grew up seeing these guys as hustlers, and then seeing them as rappers, and at the same time, when they would do events in the neighborhood, they would bring other guys through. And so, you know, this is like quite possibly one of the biggest rap groups in the world, like what I was saying in the film. When you see that kind of greatness, it's kind of like, okay, if I'm gonna do this thing, I kind of got to be real with it, you know, and it puts a lot of pressure on you. I don't think artists today have that kind of pressure. And I don't think the fans of today, like today's generation, I don't think they have that kind of expectation.
And I agree, you know, you add a lot of humor into it. You interject humor into what's reality. Yeah. Okay, how long have you been doing this? And we saw 2 artists in the film sign a deal. What's your feeling? And I know this is your individual grind, but how long have you been doing this? And is signing a deal like your ultimate?
Man, listen. If I tell you how long I've been doing this, I'm gonna age myself out.
Don't age yourself.
So I don't want to age myself out because I don't know how old people think I am. So I'm gonna just run with that. But listen, when it comes to the deal portion of it, I would honestly say this: the only reason I want a deal is to validate the ground. That's the only reason. I don't really feel like I need it.
Wow.
In a perfect world, I'll be able to do it with the team that I got, and I'm okay with this being, on the road and doing it that way. But the only reason I would want to deal is so that the kids because that's the first thing that the kids that work with me, that's the first thing they ask. Coach Matt, why you not signed already? My friends that actually, listen to the music, why you don't got a deal already? I don't understand why you're not on the radio. So that would be the only reason, just for them. But for myself,
I get that.
I know better.
I get that.
I know better. I'm not in no rush to sign no 360 deal and have no publishing.
Right.
I mean, what is it now? You get like 75 cents off of every record before they start recouping, and then once they start recouping, you in the red even if you go gold. Okay. So it's like, I'm cool. Give me my 20,000 records sold and I'm all right, man. I'm okay.
Wow.
Because look, I'm gonna be in a better financial situation than these dudes anyway. At least with my 20,000 records sold independently, I own everything that I had. My music, my car, my house. Whereas, some of these dudes, they gotta keep dropping records just so they don't get anything repossessed.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, hard-working man, been in the game for a long time. We're not going to age him out. Was in part 1 of Curators of the Hip-Hop. Not just the documentary, but the movement. And so, look out for this brother. He's going to tell you how he can be reached, where he can be reached, if you want to book him, if you want to see him, because you're going to also hear more from him on the Literary Corner, because you know how I do show up so I can help you blow up. So tell everybody how you can be reached, how they can book you, or maybe get in contact with Jimmie, because I hear that's his man.
Yeah. You could get in contact with me. Instagram is just Matt Reeves. That's REEV as in Victor ES. Also, you can hit me up, Matt Reeves Music on Twitter. Facebook is the same thing, Matt Reeves Music. Or you can email me at mattreevesmusic@gmail.com. Hit me up. I'm a regular dude. I ain't hard to get at. It's simple. I will give you my number, but I don't want to go that far.
Mr. Reeves is dope, y'all. Y'all need to check him out. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I like that, y'all.